discussion with you. And our next speaker is Andrea Romaoli Garcia. Andrea Romaoli, you can already upload your presentation while I introduce you. Romaoli is an international humanitarian lawyer and a professor for master's degree course holding UN positions as project manager, topic driver, consultant, UN mentor, and leader by Global Compact at WEPs across different areas: governance, court, technologies, child protection, human trafficking, agriculture, communication, education, as far as in the United States, Malta, Asia, Brazil, and Africa. She has a very interesting experience, broad experience. Romaoli, the floor is yours. I hope all the participants can stay. This session can need to maybe 10 extra minutes to finish, to give Romaoli enough time to finish her presentation. Thank you.
Right. My name is Andrea, and this presentation is a glance on hospital waste management, since many countries don't follow the protocols. Among the reasons, the lack of access to technologies for data management results in the lack of transparency, accountability, and inefficiency. Also, it shows the importance on definition of the sixth dimension of human rights as Anthropocene age as the governance foundations of technologies, since humans have become a major driver of global environmental change. Also, it requires to ensure the quality of algorithms at filling the purposes for the good. The reconciliation between humanity and climate are urgent issues that require financial technology and the human resources. However, the focus on sustainability will ensure the human evolution for affordable health future generation. The climate changes and global growing warming are impacting on microbial organisms as drug-resistant bacteria, and available studies indicate the carbon sequestration use emergence call to prevent the growing drug-resistant bacteria, such as a global emergency, particularly after the COVID pandemic. A proper approach onto digital technologies should cover human and climate strategies as the biomedical waste management, such a topic to prevent another pandemic, and the usage of digital technologies as the response for global health emergency. The large number of deaths and hospital waste generated by COVID can become a catastrophe in terms of planning and management of tales from the pandemic. The way as humans, animals, and environment interact does impact on drug-resistant bacteria. This condition worsens by greenhouse effect since warm temperatures benefits the proliferation. Obviously, it means the risk to global health since environmental conditions are places for bacterial resistance. Some sectors closer than others and have more knowledge about the concerns and solutions that require the environmental social contract for behavior changes on issues such as the technical use on preparation of soil, livestock, principle, crop management, and consumerist protocols for meat. Also, it needs a glance to beyond of hospital doors. A concern on waste medical could not install inside the hospital routine alone. Okay. Um, let's go. Obviously, it means the risk to global health since environmental conditions are places for bacteria resistance. Some sectors is closer than others and have more knowledge about the concern and solutions require the environmental social contract for behavior change on issues such as the technical use and preparation of soil, livestock, principal crop management practices, and consumerist protocols for meat. also amidst of the glance beyond the hospital's door. Human use are part of this view, and safe water will not pass the back in case of the grave accident. Reasons why it requires preventive measures. It suggests an effort on global surveillance to protect all civilizations due to developed countries has intense industrial, agricultural, and livestock flow and growing poverty that increases the risk environment since the soil is closer or shared with antimicrobial and medical waste. Uh, the growing poverty from pandemic is the other to speed up the efficient on energy by the usage of technologies to best management of waste, also to generate new jobs by sustainable society. Uh, we are in the slide 4. Okay, thank you. We are in the crucial moment when the human survival requires a reconciliation with our planet. On the other hand, the mindset on no one will be left behind implies to global security and faces challenges such as harmful incineration process, hard implementation costs faced by developing countries that compromise in the green solutions on efficiency, medical waste management. The corruption on public procurement procedures in countries where democracy and judicial institutions are weak. Also, it means significant obstacle that impacts on costs to deploy technological solutions with capacity to protect the water, soil, and reach the net zero. And next slide, please. Uh, some concerns, slide 5, please. Some concerns justify this representation because each country acts from different perspectives. The lack of proper management of healthcare waste that allows chemical waste radioactive infections being uncontrolled dumped without following protocols. Increased waste, plastics dropped in the environmental and toxic gases released by incineration used in waste medical reservoir. Obviously, the solutions matters to stronger judicial institutions, inclusion by expanding the access on available best technologies. Also, this presentation suggests a governance guide to ensure that the technologies will be applied for good and sovereignty of life's value. And next slide, please, slide 6. um, Across the world has example about the dangers of inefficient medical waste management. This is example about Brazil where the medical waste was dumped in sites in place near to the ocean. Very dangerous. Next slide, please, 7. About the prevention of global warming, the intersection of circular economy, the usage of technological planning, tools, and strategies will accelerate the jobs and health planning. Why circular economy is the choice on replacing the linear? Haggard on linear, the resources are extracted to produce goods, which are distributed to markets, consumed, and thrown away at the end of their useful life. This system was appropriated in a world of less than 1 billion inhabitants, where resources were abundant and waste wasn't a particular problem. But it's not suitable in a world where the population is 7.7 billion and predicted to become 9.7 billion in 2050. Circular economy means the window of opportunity for the reconciliations between humans and planet. In one hand, the linear economy still dominates global production and consumption. But in the other hand, the global scenario are friendly to recover the economy from new approaches since sustainability is the safe strategy for all sectors with scope adds the reuse and productive and recapturing value. There are some cities and business see billions of dollars lurking in circular approach. The regulatory environment is dynamic, especially as it concerns waste management. It's crucial to change the mindset and behavior to help governments optimize the management of their waste streams and how the world handles waste. Also acting over generations by building a foundation of laws, sustainable raw material suppliers, developing operation process to eliminate wasting during manufacturing and distribution, adding the solutions at scaling up to allow reuse or repurposing of materials so far as it generates values. To capitalize opportunities from green growth, we mitigated the environmental, social, and governance risks requires for understanding emerging trends, regulations, and societal expectations. However, to environmental, social, and governance risks, opportunities are generally longer term, incorporated then into the strategic and business planning helps enhance the planning, decision making, and resilience. So far as the core technological innovation and services deploy the power of data, artificial intelligence, and other key elements of digital age to help companies and government recycle better, help cities manage waste streams more efficiently, and help strengthen the marketing for recycling materials. It meets the Sustainable Development Goal was number 12 on responsible consumption and production. The circular economy is a broader concept of sustainability that embraces renewable energy, designed for longevity, upgrading, disassembly, water stewardship, and social responsibility. Thus, the actions required by intelligent waste management are eliminate pollution and contaminating practices, innovate, circulate by increasing the reuse and the recycling. What is expected from technology and intelligent waste management is the efficiency in data collection. IoTs and use of robotics will promote the transformation to save the planet, but without the dramatic interruptions in our daily lifestyle. It's a big journey. From this perspective, aspects that behavior change from climate mitigation and medical waste management will occur by circular economy systemic shift. What is the relevance onto a point of the technology as a sixth dimension of human rights? Considering the technology as a sixth dimension allows governments to maximize the application of taxes as far as it will add in the technology as a focal point to receive investments. By the way, investments in technology is one of the goals in 2030 agenda for sustainable development because it will speed up the behavior change for benefit of the planet and the human survival. What makes sense on this? Each year, budget plans of developing in poor countries allocates financial resources to areas considered important to maintain basic needs for citizens. If technology is identified as a human right, it forces to take place in budget plans as a basic needs, increase investments in education, research, and technology deployment. Uh, this slide is right. We are here. Increasing resilience will recover the world from COVID damage. Resilience will be strengthened through investments in human rights at all sectors. For gain benefits from technology on climate change is required a trustworthy governance guide through six covers of key principles to strengthen human security. The algorithms on AI and emerging technologies should follow the assessment mechanism and design and application to ensure that the proposals for the good will be reached. The bias means a difficult thing for measuring or identifying before applications. Thus, this mechanism is suggested as the governance guide of technology. It will be added by checkout of all dimensions was applied to design, architecture, and applications through the assessment tools that deploys the principles one by one. So I have here this table. The first dimension we have principle of freedom. Second dimension we have principle of equality. Third dimension principle of fraternity. Fourth dimension principle of dignity. Fifth dimension principle of sovereignty. All five dimensions are added by steps to six covering. Sixth dimension is about the principle of sovereignty of life. By the human-centric value. It means the right of the control of technology because no other value will overcome the life. All five dimensions is added to six as a system of human life cycle for the sustainable human control of technology by the values privacy, data collection, labor rights, social justice, transparency and sustainability, accountability, ethical professional responsibility, and very important, planet resilience capability is a value at the sixth dimension. Next slide, please. Um, in 2020, the Institute de Research pour Led Development in France established a link between global warming and increased risk of antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is responsible for some 700,000 deaths each year worldwide. Then, some recommendations are suggested from my colleague friends. One, for reducing costs of implementation and access to developed countries, international task force can deliver technology models by open source and strategic planning from experts by increasing the stakeholders. Open source allows inclusive non-discriminatory applications. Two, only use antibiotics when prescribed by a certified health professional. And three, prepare food hygienically. Four, investments on local agriculture for the safe food. Five, improve surveillance of drug-resistant bacteria and proper regulation